Okay, we are just now getting started and the people are starting to pour in. And sorry, we got just a 1 minute late start, but as you're coming in, you will notice that the Zoom window has a couple of icons there that you might want to pay attention to. One is the chat, and you can click on the chat and it'll open up a little window. And you can simply type in your name and where you're from so we can get a good idea of where people are coming in from. The other thing that I want to point out to you is there's another icon that says Q&A. And Q&A stands for question and answers, obviously. And that is where we are going to open it up to questions throughout the call, and you can type that in. All right, wow, we're starting to come in, and this is not in any specific order, but I do have to say, so William says hello from Orlando, Florida. William, special shout out to you because that's where I grew up, Orlando. Nice to have you. All right, wow, we've got Deborah from Texas, Thomas from Munich, Germany, Georgie from Florida, and Huang, Scott from Syracuse. Wow, lots of people. Ralph Zaransky from Bedford, Texas. Good to see you, Ralph. It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. And Ralph and I go way back to attending a lot of seminars. Oh, we got people from England,
Finally,
Hungary,
England,
Netherlands,
Southampton.
Savannah, Georgia.
Sorry.
Savannah,
Woo.
Georgia.
Sorry. Norwich here. Norwich here.
All right. Wow. People are coming in. So if you're just now getting in, I asked people to just type in your name and where you're from in the chat window. And the chat window is where we can interact with you, but there's also a section for Q&A. And as we get going, you can type in your questions there and we will do our best to answer them. We do have some of our team in the background that will be trying to answer some questions. If you do have any specific questions about WishList Member that are not related to this presentation, this webinar, if you could put those through our support system, that would be ideal. And we'll be focusing on the subject matter at hand. So with that, let's get started. And so I'm going to do a quick introduction. And so first of all, we have Francisco Opazo. Francisco, tell everybody hi and where you're from and a little bit of background.
Well, I am marketing director for WishList Member. Also, I have been working with our affiliates now for the last couple of months. I am based in the UK, a small city named Norwich. With my family, we escaped from London like almost a year ago because of course, COVID craziness, etc. But we are here. I'm so excited for this integration. There is a lot to share. That's it. Let's go for them.
All right. Thank you, Francisco. And I wanted to introduce Francisco first because he's a big reason for this webinar actually happening. So not long ago, I was introduced to a new product, and I'm going to hold the details of it for our guests, and they're going to tell you a little bit about it. But first, I want to welcome Damon and Kathleen. So Damon and Kathleen, just let us know where you're at right now and a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah, hi folks. I'm Damon. I'm the CEO of WooFunnels. We have been building WooFunnels for the last 3 years now. Sorry. So our focus has been how can we add like building the products around increasing the average order value, increasing the long-term value, engaging the users, and bringing them back on the store. So we have been primarily focused on building products around WooCommerce, but very recently we began to look into integrations with other plugins to help creators at large, and that's how we are here.
And Kathleen, before you introduce yourself, I am gonna go ahead and apologize. I told you this before that I probably would say Damon, and it's actually pronounced Damon. So sorry if I said that already. Kathleen, great to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi. So I'm Kathleen and I head marketing at WooFunnels. And yeah, so you see me on videos, I do all the blogs, and yeah, I'm really passionate about helping creators sell their products online using funnels, using marketing automation. So that is where my interest lies. And here we are. With WishList Member and introducing this integration. So I'm really proud and stoked to be part of this webinar, and I really hope that everyone's gonna learn a lot from this.
Well, I appreciate that. It's great to have you guys.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys.
So as we jump in, I just wanted to ask you guys a couple of quick questions. First of all, all of this stuff is tied together by WordPress, and obviously, you're talking about WooFunnels. It integrates with WooCommerce. How did you guys get started with WordPress in the first place?
Yeah, so our WordPress journey began in 2011. So at that time, we were running a small agency, customizing WordPress plugins and, integrating, building custom stuff on the WordPress. And then what happened is that in 2015, we begin to see a pattern, we started focusing heavily around WooCommerce, and we begin to see like there were a lot of problems which were common to all the projects which we were doing. And we were repeating those code again and again. And that's where, it struck us that probably, there's an opportunity over here. We could create something which could be leveraged by all the stores, of course, at a much reasonable cost versus what it comes to custom development. And then that's how we slowly started to, try out few products, see what sticks out there. So what happened is that so we started building a product called Thank You Page, right? And people came to us and said, hey, you built a nice looking thank you page on WooCommerce. What about a checkout page? And then we said, okay, we'll provide you a checkout page, right? And then people said, hey, the checkout page of native WooCommerce is not that great. You have done the good job. How about I increase the average order value? So we said, okay, we will provide you tools around that. So we introduced order bumps and one-click upsells. Then, people came back and again said like, hey, I have all the system in place. How do I see all the metrics, all the stats, everything at one place? And we said, okay, we'll build that. So we built Funnel Builder. And then people said like, you have the funnels. Funnels are just a series of pages. What if I want to do some kind of a marketing automation and bring users back into those funnels, right? And that's how we built Autonami. So our journey started with just listening to users, continuously finding ideas, and then seeing a pattern which came across and over again to our support desk, and then continuously building on top of it.
That's fantastic. So now we're about to take a look at some of the remarkable stuff that you guys have already built. And one of the things that we're going to be highlighting is the new integration that you've done with WishList Member. And it's very exciting for us because we'll get more into it. But in the past, we've been known for having a lot of integrations. And the majority of those integrations have been built by our team on our side, and we connect with the other API systems, and we build it directly in WishList Member. This one's going to be a little bit different because you guys are also heavily focused on integrations, and you actually built the integration with WishList Member directly into Autonami. And so I think you guys are going to be blown away. So where are we going to go? Are we going to start now with Kathleen? Are you ready to do the demo?
Yeah, I'll dive right in.
Okay.
So I'll just share screen and okay. So you can see my screen?
Yes, it is up now. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so yes, so this is where we are, and well, I'm really proud and I'm really happy to introduce the integration and tell you more about it, how it works, and I'll basically take you through a little journey and show you all the highlights. And then what Damon is going to do is that he's going to take you behind the scenes and then show you how it actually works, so the nuts and bolts of it. So that's what we're going to do. So firstly, like just a quick introduction into the funnel builder So the funnel builder actually allows you to sell your courses, membership programs, your physical products, and you can have your opt-in funnel and you can have your sales funnel. In an opt-in funnel, you can have an opt-in page. So just like people who attended this webinar, they actually filled out an opt-in form and they went on an opt-in page and they filled out their details, they signed up for it, and here they are. So that's a simple opt-in funnel with an opt-in page and a thank you page. Whereas in a sales funnel, you have your sales page, checkout, your order bump, and one-click upsell. So order bump is an element on the checkout page, which basically helps you boost the average order value. People are able to add additional complementary items. Like we've all done it. We've all gone to stores and, we've all got maybe a shoe polish with a pair of shoes and all of that. So those are typical order bumps. So this is where a funnel builder really allows you to create two types of funnels: the opt-in funnel and the sales funnel. That's funnel builder. This is just a checkout page. It's a template which I've got here to show you. How you can create a dedicated checkout page for a membership plan. So like we have here's an example of a cooking class membership, and you've got two plans here, so people can you can create a dedicated checkout page for it, and then you can have your like all your plans listed on the checkout to sell them. And then we have Autonami. So Autonami is the WordPress marketing automation tool. So I'm just introducing you to the WooFunnels suite so that one is familiar with what our products really look like. So Autonami is the WordPress marketing automation tool that basically allows you to go beyond a series of pages in a funnel. You can reach out to your customers, your members beyond a series of pages. So beyond a funnel, you can create your abandoned cart workflows, engage with new customers through post-purchase sequences, win back lapsed customers, engage with new leads, members, subscribers, and more. So this is where Autonami comes in, and this is what it allows you to do, that it allows you to engage with people beyond a series of pages, which is beyond a typical sales funnel. So through emails, through SMS, and so on. Now here, this is where we're going to talk about what this integration really looks like. So I'm going to dive right in and I'm going to show you what this integration really looks like. So firstly, it starts with the way you import your contacts into Autonami. So the way you import your contacts, you can import, it deeply integrates with WishList members. So we're going to show you how the interface really looks. But what you'll be able to do is that you'll be able to import WishList members into Autonami. Then you can get rich insights about every member all in one place. That's without having to go to different interfaces, without having to collect different pieces. You can just sit in one place. Through one interface, you can find out different pieces, every piece of information about that particular member in one place.
Kathleen, let me jump in real quick, and I want to ask you a question about this, because this is, in my opinion, what really kind of sets you guys apart, because, in the past we've had services and then you have WordPress, and in most situations, all the plugins have their own interface. So we've got you going here to do this, and then you got to go here to do that, and then you got to go over here to do this other service. And then when I saw what you've done with Autonami, it looks like you've taken all of this information, bits and pieces from WooCommerce, put it right in there, bits and pieces from WishList Member, put it right in there. So is that really like the main focus, so that you can just really do a deep dive on the customer and the analytics?
Absolutely. I mean, getting all the insights about every member in one place, this is kind of crucial, because you really want to be knowing who you're talking to, because your marketing is as good as how much you know your people. So this really helps you connect all the dots. And not just so you obviously, so in one place you can know their when they what was their membership joining date, what is their expiration date, and what is their status. So whether they are VIP or starter or whatever, so you can know their status at one place. Then apart from that, obviously every detail about their order, like when did they last place their order, what is their average order value, what is their lifetime value, which funnels they are a part of, and what they spent on a particular order, on buying from you and all that. So literally every piece of information in one place without having to go into different interfaces. So this is really a very, very important thing, and it really empowers every marketer out there to take decisions and to do their marketing well.
Great. So I also noticed on your site, you use the term CRM, and just in case people are not completely familiar with that, we're talking about custom relationship manager, correct? And so this is what Autonami is, not just an email system, an email broadcast system. It's true marketing automation in the sense of a CRM, which really encompasses a lot more. Is that pretty accurate?
Absolutely. So,
yes.
Absolutely. So to add to what Kathleen said, one of the pain points which our support staff personally faced was, like, let's say someone came and asked for a refund. Let's take the case. Now we want to know what is the status of the person, what kind of items they have bought, whether what kind of level they are currently on, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole lot of information, which is like, if a support staff has to dig in all the information, they would have to go to various pages across the WordPress website to look for that information. What we have done with Autonami, what we are calling as a 360-degree profile, is our aim with this is that this becomes a single source of truth for anyone, be it marketer, be it support folks, be it a CEO who's trying to crunch and make segments. As I go into the backend and show the demo, you would see like you could create really advanced audiences and drill down from there. So the idea is to have a single source of truth for all the plugins out there, and that's why we are proud to be native WordPress, and that's where we are leveraging the deep capabilities of all the integrations which we have, which any other CRM would not be able to do. Any other hosted CRM would not be able to.
That's fantastic. And you touched on one thing real quick there, Damon, is like your truly native WordPress. I can't wait for people to see this, because when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's truly native WordPress. It's typically things that are truly native WordPress are not real pretty, but the system's gorgeous. So let's jump back over and just proceed.
Yeah, sure. So just moving on, you can engage with all your members, old and new, based on their membership level, status, and more. So if you just want to particularly reach out to, the VIPs or the starters or the movers, like elite, pro, whatever membership status, the way you've defined it, you can reach out to that particular cohort, and speak to them. And obviously this will make your emails, your messaging a lot more relevant, because you are talking to the right people through the right message. And that is exactly what gets people to notice. Then you can automate actions like adding members to a level, removing them from a level, and so much more. You can set your event, and then you can set your action, and you can automate all those actions. And of course, you can send out the right message to the right people based on their membership level. So this is kind of like an overview of what you can do. And now I'm going to go deeper into, how this really looks. So this is where, so Autonami lets you import contacts along with their membership status, level, and more. So you don't have to rely on tags, lists, and fields as much. Like you can just simply, you can press import, and all the data related to that particular member gets imported into your system. And you can use advanced filters to create those dynamic cohorts. So I'm just going to show this to you how this looks. So this is like your adding new filter. When you click on WishList Member, then you can see all the different filters that you have available, like by their level, by their status, by their registration date, by their expiration date. So all of this happens at the import level itself, where all the data about every member, at what level they are, what their status is, what their registration date was, everything really comes into the system without you having to rely on any tags or anything of that sort. So this allows you this allows you to filter them, and then you can sort of reach out to them, reach out to that particular cohort that you've created through using these advanced filters.
Okay, one quick question, Kathleen, because I'm seeing this come up in the Q&A and also in the chat. Because we're talking about something that's native in WordPress, and so we're going to have different levels of people, some not so tech savvy, some are super tech savvy. The question is, when you talk about contacts in Autonami and you're talking about importing them in, the question is that a WP user, a WordPress user? Or are you maintaining a separate database and you import them in?
Right. So should I go for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Tracy, the answer to this is it's going to be WordPress users, and it's also going to be users who are not in the WordPress. Say for example, you just had an opt-in form and someone submitted it, and the contacts are going in a database, in a separate database table, which is in sync with WordPress users. Plus, you also have the ability to create contacts in the CRM, which are not WordPress users.
Okay, got it.
It's listening to WordPress users, but it's also having a separate table of its own to maintain that database.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, that's all right. So now, like I said, you can get rich insights about every member at your fingertips, which means that you really don't have to go through different interfaces. You can know about every member, detailed information about every member at your fingertips. So that's literally everything in one place at one convenient spot. You can know their level, their membership start date, membership expiration, and a lot more. So this is again just a quick a demo. So this is a profile of a user, and you can see their name, some details about them. Under their profile, you can see more details, even like the tags on them, the list they are a part of, their custom fields, and so on. In purchases, you can see what all orders they placed. Of course, so Damon will be taking you behind the scenes and showing you all of that. But here my idea was to show you that when you click on WishList Member, so that's how deeply integrated it is, that when you are viewing a particular contact, you will see WishList Member tab here. And then under that, you will be able to see all their details, like their level, status, registration date, and expiration date listed. And if their status is changed, you will be able to also see that, whether they're active, inactive, and so on. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right.
Okay. So then you can engage with all your members, both old and new. So you can perform actions, like when I said you can automate actions like these. You can add tags on members, remove tags, add them to specified lists, create coupon in WooCommerce if you want to, like for a particular cohort, and send them an email. And then you can do all of these. You can perform all of these actions based on the events, and events such as when the registration form gets submitted, when a new member gets added, when membership status is changed, when membership is canceled. So like you can take all those actions. So let's say if a membership is canceled, you might just want to reach out to them and maybe offer them a coupon code, and or maybe upsell them, or maybe ask them simply, what the reason was and why they decided to move on. So you can do that kind of personalized marketing by creating these automated actions based on all these events. Yeah. Any questions?
Wow, it's really impressive. And I think we've probably all seen systems like that, whether you were like, I'll give you an example. I had the satellite radio, and, you call in to cancel, and, well, why? And like, well, I sold the car, and they just go on and on and on and on. And so from my mind, it's like, how could you do all this stuff in WordPress? And now you're basically saying, here it is, boom.
Yeah, right.
Exciting.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's like you just set things up once, and then you kind of forget about it. Like it's just a one-time work, and then you set your systems in place, and then the systems really work for you while you are literally sleeping. So you don't have to do anything. So the tags are getting added, people are getting added to specified lists, emails are going out to them based on whatever events are occurring on the website. So that's how deep the integration is, and that really is an enabler. It really enables you to sort of think more and think of what more automated workflows you could create to make your systems perform better, so to make your marketing more personalized. So that's
absolutely. We have a question that came in right now that's very relevant to what you're talking about. So the question from Susie says, does Autonami replace the need for a separate CRM like ActiveCampaign?
Absolutely, yeah, that's the goal. Yeah. And the idea is that you, when I give you the demo, you would see that this CRM, Autonami, because it deeply integrates with WishList, you would see it quite a notches higher above ActiveCampaign, something which ActiveCampaign cannot do. You would have to either add the tags and then remove the tags and then manage a whole lot of stuff. But with the deep integration, which we are offering, you don't need to do all that management stuff. So there's a lot of ancillary management which goes into running a CRM. So let's say a member gets added, you would add a tag new member. Then if a member cancels, then you would have to remove the tag and put a tag canceled. And if you have multiple membership levels, the whole thing begins to slowly scale to a level where it becomes unmanageable. Like we have had this personal experience that our CRMs, when we look at them, they are like what we call as, they are in the tag hole. Like they have like 70 tags on them, and then suddenly you're seeing a profile and you're saying, hey, what are all the tags doing? Hey, these are the way my tags have messed up. Oh, this is the wrong tag. Oh, this is where it failed. I need to go back and change my automation. With this deep integration, what we are offering is a very smart system which listens to your WishList member events, and it basically changes the list, the cohorts dynamically, the advanced audiences dynamically. So you don't have to do a lot of ancillary stuff which you do in an non-native CRM. So what I meant with WordPress native was not in terms of UI per se, but more in terms of nativity, in terms of integration and listening to
right
plugins and what they do.
Right. Excellent.
Right.
Sorry, Damon, before we go to the next slide, is this where we should mention that you can do abandonment cart follow-ups with the system as well? Or it's coming?
Yeah, it has the capability to do abandonment carts, and there are a lot of abandonment which happens. So yeah, this also is a moneymaker in that sense that it will try, and that is what we said, like our entire suite is built around this philosophy that, funnels are just series of pages. What happens when people leave the funnel or they abandon the funnel, like they abandon the checkout? Then you need a follow-up system back to bring them back into the funnel. So yeah.
Yeah, so we have another question that kind of keeps coming up in a little bit of a different fashion. People keep asking about things like Zapier and maybe even WP Fusion. So they're saying in the past, a lot of what you were talking about required that you use the system called Zapier. When something happened over here, it could be done over here. How does, obviously it doesn't completely replace Zapier, but a lot of things are happening that in the past maybe would have required Zapier. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, that's absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
So that's a very good question. So the thing is, like, we are definitely not a Zapier replacement for sure. But what we are offering is a more use case based integrations. As I walk you past the demo, you would see that there's a whole section of connectors which you would find over here. So say, for example, let's say if you want to directly use your WordPress website to post data to your Google Sheet, or if you want to directly connect with Twilio, let's say, or if you want to push the data to your Slack. So earlier you would need Zapier as a connection between them. Now this is all native. So Autonami has built-in connections, and we are continuously, adding more connections. Just to tell you,
rolling out.
just to tell you, like within next 2 weeks or so, we are launching a Zoom integration. We are launching Ever Webinar and Webinar Jam integration. So people who are doing all those webinars, they can simply fill the contact form, the opt-in form, and boom, and just use Autonami to push data to Zoom or Webinar Jam or any other popular, system out there. So we are replacing a lot of, based on use cases, we are connecting internally with, directly connecting WordPress with a lot of these systems and eliminating the need for Zapier too.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay, let's jump back into the demo. And I know you guys got a lot more to cover. And as the questions come in, I'll probably hold most of them towards the end unless I see something that I think we need to stop and jump in.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. So, okay, so this is kind of, you can look at the events which are there in, so when you click on event in Autonami, again, we're going to show you how you get here. But the point here is that, again, we have a tab for WishList Member and under membership. And here you will see all the details, like you can select events such as user submits a registration form, user added to a membership level, user removed from a level, user membership level canceled, and so on. So you can select these events, and then based on these events, you can build out your workflows, and you can add conditional actions or direct actions, and then you can perform those actions. So these are the events based on which you can set Autonami to perform certain actions for you. So yeah.
Okay, one quick question there, Kathleen. Could you go back to that slide? Because there was a question that came up. Do you have these interactions with LearnDash?
Right. We have the integration with LearnDash. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it already does that with LearnDash.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. But I was going to say I'm starting to see my mind spinning, because if you did not have it with LearnDash, WishList Member does have it with LearnDash. So WishList Member could trigger an interaction with LearnDash, which now when WishList Member does something, you can now trigger an interaction with the integration with Autonami. So man, these two things together are going to be incredibly powerful. I can see it already.
Yeah.
And just to build upon what Kathleen said over here, and I'll keep on bringing that WordPress native point. If you see a traditional CRM, let's say ActiveCampaign, they would always start with a trigger saying add a tag or add it to list or something along those lines. They would never have these events or triggers like user submits a registration form or user added to a member level. So that's where the WordPress native CRM like truly wins over the SaaS CRMs, is that it now has the capability to start an automation based on events in WishList. So that's one of the other advantages of having a native CRM.
This is fantastic. Susie already asked, okay, we just asked you about LearnDash, and now she's saying, well, what about Lifter LMS? And WishList Member already works with Lifter LMS. So in turn, no matter what, even if you haven't done Lifter, it will automatically work with this.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, so with LearnDash also, like we have a very deep integration. Like when a student completes a lesson, you can send out an email when they complete a course, when they complete a quiz, and they score like above 5 on 10, whatever.
Wow.
Like you can really make those. Yeah, it's kind of like it's mind-boggling the amount of targeting you can do and reach out to your students, because usually what happens is that a person takes up a course and then the teacher just says bye-bye, like thank you for buying it, then there's no communication. And also like I once took up a course and the person just assumed that every single day I am consuming a lesson. So there was just an automated email saying, thank you for completing chapter 1. Thank you for completing chapter 2. And here I am not even like taking it. So, but with the deep integration with LearnDash, you actually can reach out to only those people who complete that lesson and then, move forward. So the person who's actually taking the course also feels really connected, and they know that, that this communication, this piece of email is relevant to me because I finished this lesson, and that's why I'm receiving it. So that really helps build that connection.
This is exciting. We're already getting comments that saying this is, I can already tell I need this, and we haven't even gotten to the demo. So I'll try to quit interrupting you.
No, I'm going to like probably just increase my pace so Damon can take us through can take us behind the scenes. Yeah. So then we've got automate actions, like you can add user to paper post, remove them from paper post, which is again, an amazing feature of WishList Member. You can add them to a level, remove them from a level again. So based on the events, which I just showed you, you can automate actions like these. So you don't have to sort of manually perform these actions. You can simply automate them based on the events that you select. So yes. So these are the actions. I'm sorry, this is not a very high resolution image, but yes, this is where you can, you can take all these actions. You can just choose anything from the list, and then you can set this action to be performed again, all inside of WishList Member. So even when you select action, you will see that we have a dedicated tab for membership and WishList Member under membership. So again, it shows how deep the integration is, that you're able to perform actions inside of WishList Member all from within Autonami. Just set up a workflow, and that's about it really. So yes, so you can again, you can send the right message to the right people when a new registration form is submitted, when a user is added or removed from a membership level, when membership level is canceled. So these are some of the use cases, these are some of the opportunities for you to really reach out to them, to engage with them, and to sort of do your personalized marketing. So yeah, that's that. Now I'm just going to ask Damon to just take us behind the scenes and show us the demo, show us how it all works. And I think he'll show you from the point where how the contacts really get imported and how deep the integration is. So you're going to get a complete, a tour of it. So Damon, you can take it.
Excellent. All right, Damon, you ready? No pressure. I keep telling everybody how beautiful this thing is, and I feel confident you're going to show it to us.
Yeah, thank you. I believe
Kathleen, you'll have to stop your share for just a bit.
Oh, yes,
so that
of
he
course,
can,
of course.
Start his.
I will pause it, and I will stop it. Yeah. Okay. Done.
There we go.
All right. All right. So. Super excited to be revealing this integration. This is the first time, apart from WishList team, anyone is seeing this integration. So yeah, so this is the interface for Autonami. This is the interface for Autonami. As you can see, when you log in, you are into your dashboard where you could see all your contacts, what kind of emails have been sent. We do integrate with Twilio and a service provider called Bulkgate. And you could also do a lot of SMS marketing through it. What are the total orders, the total revenue for the day, which is coming up, all those things like, hey, if people have abandoned your cart, we are showing them, or what are your top automations, what kind of broadcasts are going on, and so on and so forth. Of course, this is a demo setup, so it's not fully equipped with all the data, but yeah, you would get the idea. So I have the WishList member, already set up over here, and we have got about 27 odd members or so. So one of the first things you would do is that you would go to Contacts tab, and you would go to Import, and you're going to see the WishList member. So we do allow import from a CSV file. Let's say you are bringing your contacts from some other source, maybe some other CRM, you've exported them and you can import them over here. You can also import your WordPress users. You could import your users from WooCommerce. So we go and iterate through all the orders and create their profiles. And now you can also, import contacts from the WishList member. So what happens is, like, when you select WishList member, Autonami is going to go to each of the members which is there and start building a dynamic profile underneath it. So say, for example, right now it's saying 23 members are available for import. You could add a tag while you are importing them, but it's not something which is necessary. But yeah, you could add a tag. Let's say I'm adding a tag membership, and then you could say, if they are already in the system, you update their contacts. And then if you have any automations which are related to triggering this from this membership tag, you could do that. And you simply import all the members. So what is happening behind the scenes is that Autonami is looking at all the iterating through all the members which are there, and bringing them back into its own normalized database. What happens is really magical after this. So now a dynamic profile which is completely in sync with WishList WishList member profile is being created. So you could, after doing this import, you would see these filters. So of course there are filters related to tags, the contact details. You could filter by a lot of criteria over here, like including whether it's a user role, or whether this is a WordPress user or not, or what is the first order date, what is the last order date, whether this person has made a purchase. There are a lot of filters available to create what we call as audiences, dynamic audiences. Of course, after integration, bringing these contacts back into Autonami, you would see WishList member group as well. And in that, you could see, filters like membership level. So say, for example, all those folks who are on my free level or on my pro level, I can filter them right away, right? And as you can see, 13 contacts are on my pro level. And then what you can further do is, let's say, all those people who are on pro level and they're, let's say, and they are active, like on this level. So it reduced to 11 contacts. So this is what I meant when I said that you could now begin to create a lot of dynamic audiences, is using these filters. You could go on and use this to your imagination. All those people who have registered in last 6 months, or all those people who belong to this level and have got expired in last 6 months. So you could start creating dynamic audiences around it. And then the benefit of this is that when you are doing your marketing, you could leverage these audiences to do a more refined communication. So say, for example, all those people who are on your membership level pro but have expired in last 6 months, Black Friday is coming. You may want to send them a coupon and say, hey, your membership level has expired. You could renew your membership with us. This is a coupon code and the link to checkout. So the idea is that you can now create all those dynamic audiences without, relying on tags or pushing them in lists. Of course, we understand that tags and lists are important, so that is why they are there. But the idea is to bring in more dynamicity and leverage dynamic audiences. So I would simply save this as an audience. I'll say proactive members, something along those lines, and the audience will be saved. Now you could go over here and just click on those audiences, and you would begin to see all your audiences. So say, for example, right now, I did create few audiences to demonstrate. So these are my starter members. I can see I have 6 starter members. These are my starter active members. So I know that out of 6 members, only 1 member is active. These are my people who are on free membership level. These are the users who are on who are pro users on pro who have the wishlist level as pro and are active. So now you could actually see all those users. You could filter all those users, and you can create dynamic filters howsoever you want it, right? And then if you want, you could load these audiences back into while doing a broadcast or even while filtering it out. I'm going to show you on the single profile. Say, for example, let's take example of profile of Rylan, and like you would see, so we added a tag called membership, and all the data which was there for Rylan, say it's WooCommerce data or whatever the plugins we integrate with, it's going to bring that back into a single screen as what we call as a 360-degree profile. So you could see that, okay, you could get the data for the time zone. So this is something which was like our support team needed, because we could see whether the person is active or not, and then based on that they could prioritize the tickets. So so the time zone is there, all the relevant data which we could get, including the kind of purchases they have made. So you could see something like what kind of items they have bought, which categories they have bought from. Of course, more relevant to stores which have got a large volume or large number of SKUs, but you could see everything over there. The coupons they use. So this is interesting. So you could, let's say you are running a Black Friday campaign and you're using a specific coupon, you could actually next year filter out all the people who use the coupon and tailor your marketing according to that. Again, their total spend, their average order value, and what they bought, including their links to their WooCommerce orders, everything is visible on one screen. Then, as I said, like all the communication which is going out to this user, be it automated emails, be it broadcast messages, everything would be listed in the emails tab. Same goes for SMS. And then you have something called funnels. Like at WooFunnels, we are building this entire suite of how a streamlined checkout flow should be. And if users are going through a particular checkout flow, you would see all those funnels, what kind of checkouts they have gone through, what kind of upsells they have accepted, what kind of order bumps they have accepted. So everything related to them is there at one place. Of course, you could, if your support wants, or you want to add a note to a buyer, a private note, you could do that. And then this is the big deal, like the wishlist member. So this profile is being dynamically generated now. So for example, Rylan, I can see he's on level elite and his status is active, and he registered on October 21st. So the idea is to give you complete information. And then there's this little insights tab, which is being dynamically generated. So we can tell you like he's a customer, he's a repeat buyer, he has a lower average order value than the rest. And then all the things related to contact, when did he last log in, when was the last email sent to him, what was the last SMS sent, what was the last open date, click, and something related to their orders, and what kind of opt-ins has he done. So you would see like the complete 360-degree profile of the user. So this is all possible because we are generating dynamic profiles underneath underneath. And every time, let's say Rylan takes an action, Autonami is aware that Rylan is now what kind of membership level he is at, what kind of a status he is at, and then moves around from one audience to another. So this is the amount of effort versus if you were doing an active campaign, connecting it with active campaign or any other CRM out there, you would see that you would have to put in a tag to Rylan saying, hey, it's an active member tag. Then when Rylan churns or when he cancels his subscription or his subscriptions get expired, then remove one tag, put in another tag. You don't need all that stuff when you're using Autonami. Everything is dynamic. Just create audiences out of your contacts and begin leveraging your audiences. Then we have built something called exports. So time and again, we saw that there's a need for exporting the contacts, exporting the data for a variety of purposes. So this is where the standard fields, everything related to WooCommerce, what kind of coupons they have used, last order date, everything is available, and engagement. And what we are also offering is a WishList Member integration. What this integration is offering is that you could check whether you want to have a membership status, registration date, and expiration date. And this will then begin to export all the data related to the WishList Member and give you a downloadable CSV. So as you can see, this is not just a simple integration. We are trying to reimagine how this could be bring a lot of value to the WishList members and save a lot of administrative effort which goes in maintaining the CRM. So yeah. If you have like any other questions till now.
Yeah, it's really impressive. So we have gotten a few questions coming in, and so I'm going to try to kind of ask you some of the specific things. So let's start with the kind of the obvious. Maybe not everybody was completely clear of whether or not it was a service or as a plugin, but as we can see, this is a plugin that you install on your WordPress site.
Yeah.
And so now the question after that, Damon, was, okay, well, since it's a plugin, what's the situation with the data? Is the data stored in a database at the same hosting company, or is that in the cloud somewhere, or is it on Autonami's servers? How does that work?
Yeah, so just to clear, we don't host any kind of data. All the data is within your site. It never leaves your site. Autonami, what it does is that it creates specific tables or specific tables in your hosting, and all the data goes into those tables. We, of course, for the performance reasons, we don't use native WordPress tables, but we do create our own tables and store the data over there. So whatever you see over here is something which you are hosting, something which is available to you and your server. It's not going anywhere beyond this website.
Okay, we've already got people saying that they already need this and they want to get more information about buying it. So I believe maybe Kathleen will come in at the end and tell more information about that. One question is, because it's a plugin and it's running on your WordPress site, some people have seen in the past where the more plugins you have, the slower your site runs, or they start to get crashes. How does all that work? Are there certain server requirements, or how would you address that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are aware of this fact that when we are building this up inside the WordPress, we have to do it very systematically. Like you would see, we have been building this on the modern technology, like the interface is super fast. It's not something which is native to WordPress, but we are using a technology called React, and all this interface is interacting with the APIs and getting all the data from there. So it's super slick and super fast. Then then the thing with all the plugins is that we are continuously performance testing it out. And I mean, we have in our group people who are using and have sent up to 6 million emails using Autonami. So there are some hitters in our community which are using it, and then they report absolutely no change in the performance before or after Autonami. We are conducting a lot of tests out there on different hosting with different setups to see that the scalability is maintained. And that is also one of the reasons why we are slowly and steadily building up integrations, because we want to be sure that, while we give great power, we also to our users, we also, give the great, performance. So that's something which we are continuously aware about and continuously working. And we are very aware about this fact that building something like this right inside WordPress would require a lot of tech, would require a lot of seamless engineering. And we are continuously on that path wherein this does not, impact your site. Everything which you see right now runs on the backend. When you open the page, we have conducted page load speed tests, and there is no difference without or with Autonami.
Fantastic. Damon, just so you know, we're getting a lot of great feedback saying this is phenomenal. One question that I have for you is, we have a lot of people overseas, especially in Europe and all the European countries. So questions have come in about GDPR compliance. And have you guys already taken all of that into consideration with Autonami?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a lot of European users, and we understand that GDPR is really important. So we have built a lot of tools inside Autonami around GDPR. Because since you are hosting the data never leaves your server. It's something which is by default GDPR compliant. But we have also enabled, for example, if you go to our settings, and let's say if you're doing a cart abandonment sequence, you could enable a GDPR consent saying, hey, we will only capture this data if you want it. Otherwise, people can opt out of it. So we, in that sense, or if you go to checkout, again, we have these email marketing consent, the consent behavior. We have also gone ahead and realized that there is a difference in culture between US and North America and Europe. So what we have done is that we say for example, the consent behavior, if you are an EU contact, you can have it unchecked, and for non-EU contacts, you can have checked. So like the idea is to build around tools in a way that they are fully GDPR compliant. So because you host a lot of your data yourself, a lot of the burden goes of hosting this data goes to you, just as you are hosting your WordPress website. But to be sure, like, we are not taking any data out of the system, and we also have tools built in to have proper compliance in place.
Okay, great. This is a good question. We talked about bringing the data in and importing it, and then you said it gets synced. So I was saying, I'm assuming that syncing, they only have to do that once. Once it's done, Autonami just does all the syncing in the background?
Yes, absolutely. So that's the importer is the start of everything, because we understand that you are importing this means you are interested in this integration. And then from there on, we begin to listen to all the events which are happening with your members, and then automatically reconciling in our databases. So you don't have to do, all those excessive taggings or removing those tags. Like, we have actually analyzed that when we go into a CRM, a lot of automations are ancillary automations. Like they are saying, hey, when my member cancels, remove the tag member and add a tag churned. Like a lot of information is ancillary automations they have built in users have built in their SaaS CRMs are ancillary, just trying to keep up with the user flow or the user state. Now with Autonami, you don't need to do that because everything is being synced right behind the scene, and you would always have the most updated profile of Ryland, or for that matter, any member.
Yes,
Okay,
I quite like what Rose said about this. He says, no more tag mania. I'm thinking I'll make this the tagline. It's really interesting.
Absolutely. Like building up Autonami has been an interesting journey for us. Autonomy 2.0 pivoted into a CRM. And, the way it started was that we were ourselves using ActiveCampaign. And one day, Kathleen was showing me the user profile and it had 80 tags on it. And I was like, oh my God, how do we even figure out what this user is? Like, you would have to run through your eyes from left to right and see, oh, this tag, oh, that tag. So the idea is, how can we now, and of course, it's only because they don't deeply integrate with it. So the idea is, how can you have very less reliance on tags and lists? Of course, they are important. Of course, they have their role, but how can you have less reliance on actually building automations and not building ancillary automations, to keep your CRM's state working in a perfect state. So yeah, so yes, that's like the perfect tagline for this. I used to call it a tag hole. Like
the tag mania is even better.
Yeah.
Tag mania.
So another quick question on that, just because we were talking about the syncing of the data, and that happens once. So we walked them through, and I think in your example, you had 23 people in a membership level, and then you imported them into Autonami. You only did that one time. Now, if anybody else comes through that membership level, because you set up the integration, they just automatically go into Autonami, and it just happens.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Yeah. I know, Francisco, I saw that you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
Yeah, no, I think that is good for Damon to also showcase all the integrations, because when it comes to understand how many or which integrations are available for Autonami, then that will open the mind of the users. Oh, so I can, whatever is happening outside of even WishList Member can anyway trigger, and be used as a trigger for Autonami actions based on WishList Member. So that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the way to answer this is that I can go through I can direct the people to the docs and say, hey, there are the docs right now. And if you want to give a quick look at what kind of plugins we integrate with, like you would see a lot of plugins over here, form plugins and other WooCommerce related plugins. And then we have got a lot of integrations with third parties and other integrations. And of course, as after finishing this webinar, as I said, like this is the first time anyone is seeing it. We are going to push WishList Member live, and you are going to see WishList Member in that list as well. So a lot of integrations are over here, which are mentioned in the talk, and we are actively working on, bringing that inside more plugins inside with deep integration. As you would have seen, like this is not a simple integration of just adding the tags or removing the tags. It goes much deeper. So it takes a bit of more time for us to build deep integrations. But WishList was like, I'm really thankful to WishList team that they trusted us with and giving us the support in building this up. And WishList is actually our first attempt in showcasing that Autonami can go really deep into doing all those integrations. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that's quite an honor for us to be at the top of your list. So thank you for that. Got another question for you, because we're talking about sending emails, and Kathleen also mentioned about sending SMS. Can you give some feedback on the best services to send your email? I know you talked about like SendGrid, Mailgun. and
Yes,
things like that?
absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. So we have seen that you could use any SMTP plugins which are out there. Say for example, you're using WP Mail SMTP by WP Forms, or Fluent SMTP by Fluent Forms, or any other SMTP plugin, and use the services. What we have figured out is that we conducted a poll in our community. We keep on conducting polls regularly to get the vibe and see what the collective intelligence says. And Amazon SCS comes out to be #1. So if you're using Autonami, we recommend that you go for Amazon SCS. Of course, this recommendation is something which is not set in the stone. We, in our docs, we have mentioned few other providers which could be used, and this section, choosing your email service provider, you could see all those service providers sorry, all those service providers which we recommend, and which we have our one project is running with Amazon SCS, and another project is running with SendGrid. We know they are fabulous, so we have put them on the top of the list. Postmark is also coming up really well. Sendinblue is also very popular. So these are few SMTP, the email service providers we recommend. Now, the good thing with SCS is that the reason why it's also on the top of the list is that it's a lot more cheaper than other service providers, and its deliverability is fabulous. So yeah, that's our #1 choice, but you could choose from any of these lists to send out the email.
Okay. Well, we do have a couple more questions that are coming in that are kind of like specific, and I'll get to those. But the main one that we've gotten is, can you tell us more about like how this seems like what people want and need? How can they get it?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to get it is to go to the website, and you could look at our website. You could buy Autonami separately if you want to, or you could click on the pricing and see the pricing with the complete funnel builder and solution.
Package.
Yeah, the package. So the idea is basically, so we built funnels, but then we realized, like, look, people will need some way to bring people back into funnels. So that's how the Autonami thing came up. So the idea is, if you use both, that's something which is like, one gets the people in the door, the other keeps them coming back. But if you want to buy Autonami separately as well, you could click on automations, and we have given you a way to, on this page, to buy separately too.
Okay, so you said go to the website, and that's buildwoofunnels.com, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it looks like we're in the middle of a Halloween sale right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We just started. Yeah. Yesterday.
The spooky sale.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Did you have anything else on that, Kathleen, as far as the sale?
Maybe.
I would like to just quickly give you, because there's a lot of this which this integration has built, but I'll quickly give you a glimpse of everything out there, what's there. So this is carts. Carts is basically all those people who are recoverable.
Yes.
They entered their email, but they did not complete it, right? Recovered, like these people, we followed up with them, and they have like actually recovered. Lost, meaning we've followed it with them, but we could not convert them. So these are lost. And then we have got like campaigns over here. Campaigns is where you could actually build automation. So what Kathleen was showing was a lot of, it boils down to this interface. So here I have created, we have a few automations to present the use cases. Like, for example, you could create a cart abandonment or cart recovery. You could add an auto note when user cancels a particular level. When user cancels a particular level, you could do an email follow-up campaign, and so on and so forth. But if you go over here onto the wish list and you select an event, you would see Autonami's events, like when the tag is added, when the tag is removed and all that stuff. Then events related to WooCommerce. If subscriptions are there, you would see events related to subscriptions. When user logs in, when user is created, when upsell funnel is started, when they reject an offer, when an opt-in form, WooFunnels opt-in form is submitted, and of course, here the membership, like you could choose a trigger. You could say when user is added to this membership level, okay, and then you could select the level, let's say add it to Pro, keep the conversion tracking on, and then you could say something like conditional action. So you could say, hey, when the user is added to this level, and if their membership level is not something, then do send them an email, something like that. If their membership level is not Pro, and then send an email, like, or send an SMS, or put their data in the Google Sheet. So there's this whole automation builder, which is which is allowing you to do a lot of use cases. And then we have got the actions which we have are again related to membership. You could add users to paper posts. Now, this is very interesting feature which we figured out that WishList Member has, and we saw that there was this stockbroker who was asking how to do this, and this is how we recommended them. So we said, like, so they wanted to sell a special report to people who buy from a specific checkout. So and then we told them that, look, you could actually start the automation and say, hey, when order is created and if checkout page is X, then add users to this paper post, and on that post itself was the PDF file. So that's something, you know, which came up because we had this kind of deep integration going on with WishList. So again,
Yes.
a lot of use cases are possible. You could actually follow up with all your expired members, or you could start a sequence when membership has expired, or a user cancels a membership, or user is added to a particular level, user is removed from a particular level. So sky is the limit. You could build a lot of campaigns around it. And then this is the automation part. And then these are the broadcasts. So you could take a cohort and an audience, which we call it, and send them a bulk SMS. Of course, we do recommend that you do not send bulk messages to everyone, and that is why we always recommend that you drill down your users, you create specific audiences, you create specific messages, and then send them those. So say, for example, if you want to send a message to your expired users, of course you can A/B test them, but yeah, and then you could that all the expired users which are there would come up when I select an audience. So I could select an audience and say, which we created earlier. Of course, I don't have an audience for expired, but let's take the case of we wanted to send it to all those people who are proactive members. You could select them, and then you could filter them. And then, you know, if there are audiences, which in this case is not, and then you could keep on sending them the content. So that's something you could do by doing all those, what do we call, sending the bulk messages, but sending it to specific segments. And that's what broadcasts are. Of course, we have recently built a very nice tool, and we have built forms to capture leads from various form builders. So lead capture form, we integrate with a lot of form builders out there, which are Elementor forms, the Gravity forms, WP forms, Fluent forms, and WooFunnels opt-in forms. So you could get all the leads. You just create a connection with these forms and get the leads right inside Autonami. And of course, we are adding more form builders over here based on the requirement or based on the needs. But yeah, these are the most popular ones we figured out too. And you could actually connect with them and, you know, push data inside the Autonami. Sorry, guys, I'm running through this because I believe we are hitting the time limits, but yeah. And then something which we recently built is what we call as link triggers. Link triggers are pretty cool. Like it allows you to put these links in your email. And then when people click on it, you could perform certain actions inside Autonami. So let's say if people click on a certain email, let's say click on a certain link, you could add a tag or you could remove a
like
tag.
you can, yeah, like you can ask them, you can ask them a question like, what is your what is your level, or where are you in your marketing journey, or where are you in your business? And then they can define whether they are at the starter level, or whether they are intermediaries, or at a very advanced stage. And then based on whatever they click, like you can update a custom field, or you can add a tag on them, and so on. So you can sort of initiate certain actions to be performed in the backend based on what they click in their email. So that's what you could do. So I do have, some of the videos. So if people check out the YouTube channel, they will be able to find some of the recent videos on link triggers, as well as there's something on auto login. We just released a post where people can log in automatically into their Learn Dash course. And then, you can set the expiry for your auto login, let's say 7 days or 10 days. And then in that period, they don't have to manually enter their username and password to be able to log in to view the content. So so those are the kind of things that you can do. And I think when it comes to comparing Autonami to any other CRM, it is just that deep integration which really sets it apart, and its ability to go just beyond your broadcast campaigns and just beyond your your regular automations. The fact that you can set up those nifty workflows based on events that occur in different plugins, and the way it really communicates very deeply with WordPress. The fact that you don't even have to go out of WordPress to use Autonami. So I think those are some of the things which really make it very user friendly and kind of a very easy to use tool. So
to add to what Kathleen said, so one of the things we realized was which native CRMs were not, which other CRMs were not able to do were, like, say for example, let's say I send an email saying, hey, this webinar is coming up, would you like to join? And I send a blast to my users, and if they say yes, then you could automatically tag them or update their custom field and say, hey, these people are interested. So they don't need to go back and, fill the form and say, and submit the form and do that. They could simply, like, you send them an email with a link and ask for a yes, I want to be in this webinar, and yes, they are enrolled. Or the other use cases, let's say, you have a membership site and you are continuously publishing new content and you are sending them an email, but that content is behind a username and login. And often it happens that people forget username and passwords, or they click on this link and they say, oh, this is protected content, let me figure out where my username password is, or let me press that forgot password button and get the user back in and get my password and then logging in. So this is a lot of friction. So what we have figured out is that if we can send them a link which simply they click and then they log into their website,
they get auto logged in.
Yeah, they get auto logged in, and their tendency to consume the content would be even higher, rather than they having to find their username and passwords and to log in. So that's something which we have built with link triggers, which we are really proud of, and it's being actively used. We are coming up with more videos around it to showcase, like, how could people who are using, let's say, course systems like LearnDash or membership sites, which are essentially behind a username and password, they could actively, not need any of those. They could simply click a link and get auto logged in and consume the content. So there are a lot of growth tools which we are planning and we are building over here to really ease the workflow. So it's going beyond what a traditional CRM would do, and thinking about all those roadblocks which are there in users' marketing automation journey, and then eliminating them. So
that's fantastic. So we need to wrap up. We've got a couple things I want to just wrap up. I've seen some people were saying we've talked a lot about LearnDash, and some people know exactly what LearnDash is, others don't. It's just it's a popular WordPress plugin for what's called an LMS, which is a learning management system.
Learning management.
There you can build out all types of courses, quizzes, and all kinds of things like that. One quick question that has come up, because you have so many of these different integrations, and I saw that you had things with services like ActiveCampaign and Keep and Slack. So those integrations work with an external service, correct?
Yeah.
Which is outside of the WordPress site. But when it comes to the WordPress integration, so for example, WishList Member specifically, Autonami needs to be running on the same site WordPress install as WishList Member. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Because it's listening to a lot of wishlist activity which is going on. It has to be on same setup. Yeah.
Okay, so same goes for when it's pulling in the data from WooCommerce in terms of the sales data. So you need to have the WooCommerce running on the same site as Autonami and WishList Member.
So there, yes, absolutely. But there we have begun to open up our APIs in a way that other third-party plugins can leverage that. There's a plugin called WP Fusion that is now connecting with Autonami. And if you're using WP Fusion on even their free version on one site, you could actually connect with Autonami and push a lot of data from their site to this site. Of course, there are certain limitations to that approach. For example, the kind of data listening which we are doing, that plugin would not be able to do, but you could still run separate pieces using our integration with WP Fusion.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say thank you to both. As we wrap up, can you bring up the specific page? I think I sent the link out so people would go to buildwoofunnels.com.
Yes, so people would go to buildwoofunnels.com and then they could know more about what we offer. And of course, if they like what they see, they can always hit the pricing tab and then go on and purchase.
And so just to be clear on the offer, you sell the product, WooFunnels and Autonami separately as separate products, but then they can also buy it as a bundle, correct?
Yeah, it's the funnel builder and Autonami. Yeah, funnel builder for building out your funnels, and then there is Autonami for your marketing automation. So you can buy them separately, or you can buy it like a package.
Okay.
So put them together.
So you will obviously benefit the most by having both of them, but Autonami does not require the funnel builder to still do all this incredible.
They are completely
automation.
independent. Completely independent. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, yeah, you can decide.
Hot.
Sorry, did you say something, Francisco?
This is hot.
Oh, it's hot. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, we need to wrap up here. I want to say thank you both to Damon and Kathleen, and thank you, Francisco, for being such a big part of making this happen. And thank you to everybody that showed up with us live, and also for the people that are going to be watching the replay. I'm super excited about what you guys have built here, and this is just the beginning, so I can't even imagine where this is going to go. So thanks again, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure. And thank you everyone for joining.
Bye, guys. Thank you for staying with us.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.